What's going on, guys? I'm Tyler, and in continuing my series of Disney movie reviews, I'm here to let you know that Oliver and Company is no perfect movie. And it's basically the Oliver Twist story in 80s New York with cats and dogs. And Oliver is a stray orange kitten who has to decide whether he wants to stay with a gang of stray dogs led by Billy Joel as Dodger, who look out for him and protect him, or a wealthy family where he brings joy to a very lonely 8-year-old little girl. And this is not one of the most memorable or recognizable Disney movies. Even Disney animators actually kind of frown upon this movie, and a part of me wants to chalk it up to the fact that this was being made around the same time as Roger Rabbit, another Disney movie that needed a lot more time, money, and effort in order to make it as groundbreaking and innovative as it was. I could also, if I wanted to, try and chalk it up to the fact that it came out the exact same weekend as Land Before Time, which has grown on to be a classic ever since. But the truth is, there's nothing really awful about Oliver and Company. It's just harmless and incredibly insignificant as a Disney movie or really as a movie in general. But I'm going to try and start with the positives. For starters, all the voice actors do a really good job. Joey Lawrence brings this wide eyed, naive innocence that you would expect with a character like Oliver Twist, and he does a really good job at that. Cheech Marin as Tito is so hilarious in just his line delivery. He puts a lot of energy in his performance, and that performance alone really sells a lot of the jokes that he delivers because some of them are pretty throwaway, but Marin makes it work. But easily the biggest highlight from the voice cast, as many people would expect, is Billy Joel as Dodger. This is, as far as I know, the only actual acting job he's actually done, and it's kind of a shame because he really feels natural as the New York wise guy. It's basically why Disney hired him in the first place. His line delivery makes every line he says sound really cool and calm. And because it's him, he has easily the best song in the entire movie. Why Should I Worry is catchy as hell. Look it up on YouTube. It's a really fun song to listen to. The only voice actor I had a hard time with was Bette Midler, who plays the most spoiled pet character in the movie, and it's not really her fault. It's just her character is written so obnoxious to the point where it's hammered in too much that she's like the outsider from all the animals. There are a lot of broken nail or I'm so spoiled and lazy type of jokes. And she also gets the most annoying song out of all of them, and it doesn't really help that they make her make these really awkward pauses like, ugh, yeah. That just, they feel like time wasting, not like actually part of the song. And the other positive is that the animation really makes New York look as spot on as it does in real life. The amount of advertising and billboards that you see feel incredibly realistic. Tons of Coca-Cola ads everywhere. I actually saw like one joke in the background. There was a dentist office and the doctor's name was Payne, literally. I don't know. It just seemed like a random joke, but it was a good one. You can tell if you've ever been to New York City where these characters are. The geographic settings look incredible. A lot of people compare it to Ralph Bakshi or Fritz the Cat or stuff like that, but based on what I saw, it felt like they were trying to replicate the New Yorker magazine covers, which I see those all the time at work, so that was what registered in my mind. But as I kept watching, I couldn't really help the fact that I was noticing small animation glitches that I shouldn't notice and really shouldn't be there. There are multiple times where characters are saying something, but their mouths aren't moving. There are some characters where you can really notice the lines traced around them, but there are other characters that don't have any at all. And it's a touch distracting just if you're a nerd for catching little problems like that. And there's even one song called Streets of Gold, which is fun to listen to. It's not memorable in terms of lyrics, where one woman is singing, but in the background, her guy friends are supposed to be the background singers, even though the background singers are clearly women. And the problem doesn't even stop there. The song has like two or three verses. Only one of them is in the movie, and then it just cuts, it fades midway just because apparently we needed to get to the plot, even though it's an hour and 15 minutes. You have enough time to fit the rest of the song in there. And while we're at it, you can fit in enough time to give Oliver a song because, yeah, you don't even realize it till the very end. Oliver from Oliver and Company doesn't even have his own song, which would have been helpful in developing more of a rapport between him and the stray dogs and him and the little girl, because that was the one of the big problems. I couldn't feel any bond between him and the gang or him and the little girl, in all honesty. The little girl is just a generic 8-year-old who's cute and wide-eyed and innocent and completely flawless, if I'm being honest, and that was the huge problem. But him and the gang, I should have felt something because they spend the most amount of time together, but no, you don't really learn anything about the other dogs. You don't learn anything that they have in common. Sure, they're dirt poor and hungry all the time, but that's not really enough for me to latch onto them. It doesn't help that Oliver is like the one kid in the movie and the other animals are all grown adults, which I'm assuming is just because they needed celebrity voices, and Joey Lawrence was on a show called Blossom. That was the closest thing he had to being a celebrity. But yeah, like, you don't learn any backstories about any of the characters, and normally I'm all for a imagine your own backstory thing, but they never give you an opportunity to do that. But, and this was another big problem, the thing that bugged me the most was that the message felt really inconsistent. Oliver Twist is a character who is the exact embodiment of innocence. Despite how dirt poor he is, he never turns to crime, and by the end of the book, he is rewarded for that. And the other characters who continue living a life of crime suffer the consequences as a result. In this movie, it tries to take a upper class versus lower class stance and try to give lower class citizens the, well, we're thieves because nobody gives us anything excuse. And normally that can work, and Disney's done that before with Lady and the Tramp, Aladdin, Atlantis, but in this movie, they're given, the gang of dogs anyways, who spend the majority of the movie stealing from people who have never harmed them before, are given a chance of redemption when they have to rescue this girl when she's in trouble, and they find common ground with her and her family, supposedly bridging a gap between upper and lower class. But then, by the end of the movie, it seems like they're going right back to a life of crime, and it's just passed off as a joke. It's so inconsistent to the point where I'm not even sure if Oliver even knew, as he was helping them out, if they were even criminals or if any of their behavior was bad. So there was a real lack of conflict throughout the entire movie, and it was clear as day there was supposed to be a conflict. It's not like Lady and the Tramp where it is just a slice of life thing. No, there's supposed to be a plot from beginning to end, and I just didn't feel it. So, on the whole, Oliver and Company is not awful by any means, because the animation, for the most part, is nice to look at. The voice actors do the best with what they're given, they're just not given a lot, and there's only one or two songs where I can really remember the words, and there's not really much I can say other than Oliver and Company was harmless, not really a waste of time. It's only an hour and 15, but you could have given at least 10 or 15 more minutes to add some more songs or some more character development. So for all of those reasons, I'm going to give Oliver and Company a 2.5 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching. If you've seen Oliver and Company, if you loved it as a kid, feel free to let me know down below. It's clear as day why. It's completely harmless. It's cute. And be sure to look forward to more Disney reviews in the future, and be sure to like and subscribe. Take care.